Welcome back to Horoscope TV.
We are so glad to have you here with us.
Yeah, and this episode is actually dedicated entirely to you, like specifically to the brave, totally unstoppable sign of Aries. And we are looking at the week of June 29th to July 5th, 2026.
It is a very important week to pay attention to.
It really is. Listen, you seriously need to tune in right now because you are about to experience this massive wave of shifting energy. Plus, there are some truly unexpected romantic sparks coming.
Right, and some very tricky slowdowns in your daily plans, too.
Exactly. We are looking at a week where your forward momentum it basically crashes directly into the universe's demand for you to restructure.
Yeah.
It is going to be a wild ride.
It definitely is. And, calmly looking at the astrological charts and the astro data for this week, we are going to analyze exactly how these planetary movements will impact your daily life.
Which I love because sometimes it can be so confusing.
Oh, absolutely. But we will use simple, clear terms. We're going to break down the mechanics of what is happening up in the sky so you will actually know what to expect.
I am so ready for this.
Yeah.
Because, that tension between wanting to run forward and being forced to slow down, that is like such a classic Aries struggle.
It really is the ultimate Aries dilemma.
Right. So let's just unpack this massive wave of shifting energy that kicks off the week. Because June 29th is a huge day.
It is a massive day. We are looking at two major events literally crashing into each other.
Yeah, first there's this bright full moon in Capricorn. And that brings a major situation in your life right up to its peak. But then on that exact same day, Mercury goes retrograde.
Which is where the friction comes in.
Exactly. And, as we all know, that can cause some serious slowdowns in your daily plans. It makes me think of, imagine you have spent years climbing this massive steep mountain.
Oh, I like this analogy.
Right. Like you have faced the freezing winds, your legs are burning, you sacrificed your weekends, and finally you take that last step and reach the absolute summit.
You did the hard work.
Yeah. And the view is breathtaking. You achieved your goal. So you reach into your pocket to grab your phone, ready to take a picture and share this massive victory with the world.
And the battery is completely dead.
Yes. You are standing at the peak of your success,
Yeah.
but you are totally cut off from sharing it because of a technical glitch. On June 29th, that exact frustrating paradox is coming right for you, Aries.
It is such a powerful image, and it completely matches the astro data. To understand that tension, we have to analyze what these two events actually want from you.
Right. What is the universe actually asking for here?
Well, let's start with the full moon. When we have a full moon, the sun and the moon are directly opposite each other, right? So the moon is fully lit up.
Like a giant spotlight.
Exactly like a spotlight. Astrologically, it is a time of completion and high visibility. But this specific full moon is in Capricorn.
And Capricorn is a very serious sign, right?
Very serious. It rules the top of the zodiac chart. It is all about structure, hard work, your public image, and those really long-term achievements.
So it is demanding that you take action.
Yes, it wants you to celebrate your hard work, look at the final results of what you built over the last 6 months, and step into the public eye to claim your prize.
Okay, so the Capricorn full moon is basically handing you a megaphone and a gold medal. It is telling you to go stand on the podium.
Exactly. It pushes you outward. But then on the very same day, Mercury goes retrograde. And if we look at the mechanics of a retrograde, it is an optical illusion.
Right. From Earth, it just looks like it is moving backward.
Yeah, it looks like Mercury is slowing down, stopping, and reversing its orbit. But even though it is an illusion, the astrological impact is real. Mercury rules how we talk, our travel, our technology.
Basically everything that makes modern life function.
Exactly. And when it goes retrograde, it demands that you stop. It wants you to look backwards, slow down, and fix the things you might have missed before you take another step.
That sounds completely maddening for an Aries. You have this bright spotlight telling you to run forward and take your victory lap, and then this planetary slowdown throwing a wrench in the gears.
It really is a confusing push and pull.
Yeah, it is telling you to walk backward and double-check your shoelaces. You want to shout from the rooftops, but the universe is like, no, go sit quietly and review your paperwork.
It is the absolute ultimate test of patience for a sign that is naturally built for speed, because Aries is the spark that starts the fire, right? You want to initiate.
Always. Aries wants to be first.
But Mercury retrograde here is telling you that if you rush this victory lap, you are going to trip. The lesson of June 29th is to just allow that peak moment to happen internally.
So, like, you can reach the top of the mountain, but maybe you don't need to post the picture right away.
Precisely. Maybe you just need to sit with the achievement yourself for a minute.
I think that is a really beautiful way to frame it. The victory is still totally yours, even if the broadcast is delayed a little bit.
It is yours to keep.
So, after all that heavy, confusing push and pull on the 29th, we move into June 30th. And here is where the story shifts dramatically.
A very welcome shift, too.
Yes, the lucky planet Jupiter enters Leo, and it brings this incredible, fresh spark of joy and creativity. After the heavy energy of that mountain climb, how exactly does this Jupiter shift feel for our Aries listeners?
It honestly changes everything. If we analyze Jupiter for a moment, it is known as the great benefactor. It expands whatever it touches. It brings luck, optimism, and abundance.
It makes things bigger.
Exactly. And for the past year, Jupiter has been moving through signs that felt maybe a bit heavier or more practical for you. But on June 30th, it steps into Leo.
And Leo is a fire sign, just like Aries. So they are like speaking the exact same elemental language.
They absolutely are, and that is a crucial point. Leo is the sign of the heart, of theater, playfulness, and just pure, unfiltered joy.
I love that. Pure joy.
So when the planet of expansion moves into the sign of playfulness, it acts like a giant amplifier for your own internal fire. For Aries, this shows up in everyday life as a massive return of your natural spark.
So that heavy lifting from the Capricorn full moon just kind of fades away.
Yeah, it fades into the background, and suddenly the world feels full of color again.
I really love that visual of the world filling with color. But what does that actually look like on, say, a random Tuesday?
Good question.
Like, doesn't Aries just wake up and suddenly decide they need to paint a massive mural on their living room wall? Or maybe they try cooking a totally new, highly complicated meal they saw online at 2 in the morning.
It is actually even more spontaneous than that. It is not really about planning to paint a mural. It is more about being struck by the sudden, overwhelming urge to just buy a canvas at 3 in the afternoon because the sun looked pretty.
Oh, wow. So it is just total impulse joy.
Yes. You might be walking down the street to the grocery store, doing the most boring errand in the world, and for no logical reason, you just feel a random burst of happiness bubbling up.
Just pure, unprovoked happiness. That is amazing.
Exactly. You might catch yourself humming while you wait in line or smiling at strangers, or you might suddenly feel really excited to pick up a guitar or a sketchbook you haven't touched in months.
It sounds like it is waking you up.
The astrological charts show that Jupiter in Leo is actually removing the heavy armor you've been wearing. It is giving you permission to play again. It reminds you that life isn't just about climbing mountains.
Right. It is also about enjoying the sunshine once you are up there. That is the kind of energy we all need right now.
Yeah.
A massive permission slip to just be happy.
Definitely.
But we are definitely not stopping there. Because the tension between your desire for freedom and the rules of the world is about to just snap. July 4th brings some literal sky-high fireworks.
It really does. The energy on July 4th is huge.
The astro data says Mars joins Uranus in a very powerful alignment. And this specific event gives Aries the absolute courage to break free from old, boring patterns and try something totally new.
This is, without a doubt, the most electrically charged day of the entire week. To understand the magnitude of this, we really need to look at the 2 planets involved here.
Right, Mars and Uranus.
Yes. First, we have Mars. Mars is your ruling planet, Aries. It represents your drive, your physical energy, your courage, and your inner warrior. It is basically the engine that powers your life.
Okay, so Mars is the engine. What about Uranus?
Uranus is the planet of sudden changes, rebellion, lightning strikes, and breaking the rules. It is the great awakener in the charts.
Oh, wow. So you were basically taking the warrior and handing him a lightning bolt.
That is an incredibly accurate way to picture it, yes. When these 2 planets meet in the sky, which is an event we call a conjunction, their energies just fuse together.
And what does that mean for an Aries on the ground?
It creates a literal physical need for freedom. Anything in your life that feels restrictive, slow, or outdated is going to feel like wearing a thick wool sweater in the middle of summer.
Ugh, you just want to rip it off immediately.
Exactly. You cannot tolerate it for another second.
So let's get specific for the listener. When we talk about breaking free from old, boring patterns, what are we really talking about? Are we talking about small things?
It can definitely be small things.
Like maybe their morning routine. Like they are just sick and tired of eating the exact same plain oatmeal every morning and taking the same bus route. Or is it bigger, like throwing out their whole wardrobe?
It usually starts small, but it has a cascading effect. The charts indicate that anything feeling like a rut becomes highly uncomfortable. If your morning routine feels robotic, Uranus pushes you to flip it.
So no more plain oatmeal.
Right. You might wake up and decide to run 3 miles instead of drinking coffee, or you take a totally unfamiliar route to work just to see some new buildings. But it absolutely extends to the bigger picture, too.
Like the wardrobe example.
Yes. If you have been wearing safe, neutral colors every day because you just want to blend in, Uranus will push you to wear the brightest, loudest thing you own.
It is a total rebellion against the ordinary.
It is. It is the urge to shock your own system back to life. The energy is highly electric, and it pushes you to try something completely out of character, even if it surprises the people around you.
Like speaking up in a meeting with a totally wild idea.
Or booking a weekend trip to a city you have never even researched. The goal of this Mars and Uranus alignment is to wake you up to your own potential.
Okay, but this desire to completely break free, combined with that peak energy from the Capricorn full moon, that is going to have a massive impact on the listener's day job, right?
Oh, a huge impact.
Because we cannot just ignore work while we are out here rebelling against oatmeal and wearing loud shirts.
Yeah.
That rebellious energy doesn't just turn off when you clock in on Monday morning.
No, it bleeds right into your professional life.
Exactly. So let's connect the dots and look at work, career, and the bank account. Because we have to pay the bills.
This is a very critical area this week, because while your spirit is craving total freedom, your professional life is actually demanding extreme accountability.
That is a tough spot to be in.
It is. The work life of an Aries is going to face some intense pressure tests due to the specific angles in the stars right now.
Right, and let's trace that back to June 29th. The full moon in Capricorn shines that massive spotlight on your career achievements. You are highly visible.
Everyone is watching you.
But, again, Mercury is turning retrograde on that exact same day. And the forecast says Aries must be very, very careful with emails and messages to their boss or clients. Why is this specific retrograde so dangerous for work?
This is where we have to analyze the practical side of the charts. The full moon is lighting up your 10th house of career, so your bosses, your managers, the public, they are looking very closely at you.
Every move is magnified.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But because Mercury, which is the planet responsible for typing, talking, and transmitting information, is essentially moving backward, the chances of a silly mistake are incredibly high.
And it isn't just that Mercury is retrograde. It is retrograde in the sign of Cancer. Now, Cancer is a water sign, right?
Yes, very emotional and sensitive.
So this isn't just about, like, forgetting to attach a PDF. This is about the tone of the message being completely misunderstood.
You have hit the nail on the head. Mercury retrograde in Cancer means that communication gets clouded by emotion.
Oh, no.
Yeah. You might type out a quick, confident email to your boss because you are feeling that full moon energy. You think you sound super professional and efficient.
But the person reading it on the other side.
Right. They are receiving that Cancer retrograde energy. So they might read your short, efficient sentences as being aggressive, dismissive, or even angry.
Oh, that's a literal nightmare. Suddenly, a simple, I will handle this project today, is read as, I have to handle this project today because you are all totally incompetent.
Exactly. The entire mood shifts because a crucial word of politeness was left out. That is exactly the kind of easy, emotional misunderstanding the astro data points to.
So how do they avoid that?
My best, most actionable advice for you this week is to institute a mandatory delay on your communications. Slow way down. If you write an important email, do not hit send immediately.
Like, step away from the keyboard.
Yes. Institute a 15-minute draft delay. Step away from the screen, get a glass of water, and then come back and read it out loud to yourself.
The read it out loud rule is gold. When you hear your own words, you catch the tone immediately.
Yes. Because your career is in the spotlight, you want to ensure the message you are sending is the exact message you mean to send. Do not let a silly communication glitch ruin your full moon victory.
Okay, so we are delaying emails. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But moving forward to July 2nd, the communication issues actually shift from the computer screen right into the conference room.
This is where it gets a bit heated.
The astro data says Mars squares the node, and this means you might face a serious argument about the direction of a team project. Now, I actually need to stop and push back on this point.
Go right ahead.
Aries is a brave, fiery sign, right? Their entire identity is built on courage and instinct. They are ruled by Mars, the warrior.
They absolutely are.
So if an Aries knows they have the absolute right idea for a team project, and they see the team making a huge mistake, Shouldn't they just stand their ground and fight for it?
I can see why you would ask that.
I mean, I have seen Aries friends push through team resistance before and end up saving the day. Why should they hold back now? Why not use that Mars energy to just smash through the block?
That is a very valid point. And looking at history, the Aries fighting spirit does usually save the day. But we have to analyze the specific mechanics of this transit to understand why fighting will fail this time.
Yeah, tell me why.
You are dealing with a square aspect to the node. Let's break that down. A square in astrology is a 90-degree angle between 2 points in the sky.
Like a sharp corner.
Imagine two cars speeding toward the same intersection from totally different directions. If neither stops, they crash. It is an angle of pure friction and crisis.
Okay, so there is a massive crash coming. But what exactly is the node?
The North Node isn't a planet. It is a mathematical point in space where the moon's orbit crosses the Earth's orbit around the sun.
Oh, interesting.
In astrology, the node represents our larger path, our collective karma, and the ultimate lessons we are meant to learn. It is like the gravitational pull of destiny. It is a compass needle pointing toward growth.
So Mars, which is your drive and your action, is crashing at a 90-degree angle right into the compass needle of destiny.
Exactly. And to answer your question about why an Aries shouldn't just smash through the block,
Yeah.
you can punch a wall, but you cannot punch gravity.
Oh, wow. You cannot punch gravity. That is so true.
The node isn't a physical person you can argue with. It is the underlying energy of the group. The astrodata shows that if you try to force your will on July 2nd, the collective energy of the team will turn against you like a tidal wave.
Even if your idea is right.
Even if your idea is technically brilliant, the aggressive way you present it will cause so much friction that the idea will be rejected just out of spite.
Wow. So fighting the team right now is literally fighting fate. You cannot win a tug of war against the universe.
You really cannot. Staying calm, taking a back seat, and not rushing into important decisions is the absolute only way to win during this specific week.
Patience is key then.
Patience is your secret weapon here. If you let the team make their choice, the energy will eventually clear and your leadership will be requested naturally later on. But if you force it on July 2nd, you just create enemies.
Deep breaths, Aries. Do not start a war in the conference room. You have to play the long game here. Now let's look at the money side of things, because July 2nd brings another really deep challenge.
Yes, it does.
Jupiter squares Chiron. And the charts indicate this might bring up some heavy old worries about financial security or past spending mistakes. What is the connection between these two?
This is a deeply psychological transit. Let's look at Chiron first. Chiron is an asteroid, often called the wounded healer in astrology.
The wounded healer.
Yes. In mythology, Chiron was a centaur who possessed the knowledge to heal anyone in the world, but he suffered from a wound that he could never heal on himself.
That's so tragic.
Astrologically, Chiron represents our deepest insecurities, our old wounds, and the sensitive spots we always try to hide.
So Chiron is the sore spot. And what happens when Jupiter hits it?
Well, remember what we said about Jupiter earlier? Jupiter acts as a massive magnifying glass. It expands whatever it touches.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah, when big, expansive Jupiter forms a tense 90-degree square with Chiron, it magnifies the wound. It blows your insecurities entirely out of proportion.
Oh, that sounds incredibly uncomfortable.
It is. For an Aries this week, it specifically hits the financial sector. You might suddenly start obsessing over a bad investment you made, like 5 years ago.
Or thinking about a time you spent way too much on a credit card during a vacation.
Exactly. And you will feel this sudden, crushing wave of regret or fear about your current bank account, even if your bank account is actually totally fine.
That is a terrible feeling.
Mm.
It is like you are lying in bed at night staring at the ceiling and your brain decides to put on a high-definition highlight reel of every dumb financial choice you have ever made since you were 18.
That is exactly what it feels like.
But listen, the most important thing for the listener to know is that they cannot let these phantom fears dictate their reality. The charts make it very clear that this energy changes quickly.
It changes very fast.
You are going to feel the worry, the highlight reel is going to play, but you have to let the movie end and let it pass.
It will absolutely pass. It is just a temporary expansion of an old fear. But here's the trick. While you are waiting for that fear to pass, you need to be very careful on July 4th.
Wait, why July 4th?
Well, we talked about Uranus bringing that wild, erratic electric energy that makes you want to break free from your boring routines, right?
Right.
Well, that same exact energy can make you want to break free from your budget just to feel alive.
Oh, I see the trap. You feel bad about your money on July 2nd, so on July 4th you think, forget it, I'm just going to live my life.
Exactly. Retail therapy.
So this means no suddenly buying a completely new wardrobe or booking an expensive surprise vacation to an island just because you feel restless and want to escape the pressure.
Correct. Uranus will try to convince you that spending money will buy you the freedom you are craving, but it is an illusion.
It won't work.
The charts strongly advise you to stick to your financial plan. Lock your credit cards away for the holiday if you have to. And there is one more detail to watch out for. You might notice some slow or glitchy bank transactions around this time.
Is that the Mercury retrograde acting up again?
Yes. Mercury rules commerce and transactions. A wire transfer might take an extra day to clear, or a payment app might crash while you're trying to split a dinner bill.
Or your direct deposit shows up late.
Exactly. Just stay patient. Do not panic if the money moves a little slower than usual. It is just the retrograde static.
And the good news is, massive relief is actually coming. Because by July 5th, the astro data shows Mars forming a highly positive aspect, a strong trine with Pluto.
This is a fantastic transit.
And the way this is described sounds amazing. It gives Aries the perfect power to finish hard tasks successfully, the determination to fix any budget issues, and even the vision to find new ways to earn extra cash. Let's dig into this, because a trine sounds much better than a square.
A trine is the easiest, most flowing angle in astrology. It is a 120-degree angle, which means the two planets are in signs of the same element.
So they get along.
Perfectly. Energy flows between them like water down a smooth riverbed. There is no friction at all. When Mars, your ruling planet of action, forms a trine with Pluto, it is like bringing your car into the shop and getting a massive turbocharged upgrade to your engine.
And Pluto is the powerhouse, right?
Exactly. Pluto is a planet that operates in the deep dark. It is the planet of profound transformation, hidden wealth, and absolute unrelenting power.
Like volcano power.
Yes, it is the kind of power that moves tectonic plates beneath the Earth. When Pluto supports Mars, your actions are no longer just fast. They are incredibly focused. You suddenly have the precision of a laser beam.
So all that chaotic worry from July 2nd.
It vanishes. You will be able to sit down at your kitchen table, look at your budget, and calmly, ruthlessly figure out exactly how to restructure it.
You might even come up with a brilliant, outside-the-box idea for a side hustle.
Or a new investment strategy to bring in more money.
That is huge.
Yeah.
It is like you go from feeling totally powerless against your finances to becoming the CEO of your own life.
It is a massive shift in confidence.
Okay, so work and money are clearly demanding a lot of attention, a lot of patience, and some serious strategic thinking. But the charts show that while you are busy managing all of that, love is preparing to take center stage.
Yes, it is.
The romantic energy is bringing its own set of intense surprises. Let's shift our focus and get into the romance and the cosmic matchmaking for the week.
Romance is looking incredibly bright, and it serves as a beautiful counterbalance to the stress of your career. The shift really begins on June 30th when Jupiter enters the fiery sign of Leo.
Right. We talked about that, Joy.
As we analyzed earlier, this brings a huge wave of playfulness and passion into your daily life. You are smiling more, you are open to the world, but the really magical magnetic moment happens on July 2nd.
Yes. The forecast says that on July 2nd, Venus forms a beautiful aspect with Lilith, making you feel incredibly charming and deeply attractive to others.
It is a very potent combination.
Now, we all know Venus. Venus is the planet of love, beauty, values, and how we draw things toward us. It makes sense that Venus brings charm, but Lilith adds a very different, very specific flavor to this mix.
It is not your typical romance.
Right. It is not just sweet, polite, holding hands in the park charm. It is something much deeper. It makes you feel wildly magnetic. Let's explain Lilith for listeners because she is really fascinating.
Lilith is indeed fascinating. In astrology, Black Moon Lilith is not a physical rock like a planet. It is actually a mathematical point in space.
Kind of like the node we talked about earlier.
Exactly. It represents the lunar apogee, which is the point in the moon's orbit where it is farthest away from the Earth.
The farthest point.
Yes, and because it is the farthest point, Lilith represents distance, independence, and the parts of ourselves that refuse to be tamed. Mythologically, Lilith is the archetype of the wild, unfiltered, rebellious shadow self.
The part of you that absolutely does not care what society thinks.
Precisely. She is unapologetic.
So you take Venus, which is the desire for connection and beauty, and you mix it with Lilith, the raw, untamed, independent spirit. What does that actually look like?
It creates a paradox that humans just find incredibly intoxicating. When Venus and Lilith form a positive aspect, you are not trying hard to be attractive.
You are not, like, posing.
Right. You are not wearing a specific outfit to impress anyone, and you are not saying the right things to approval. You are completely resting in your own authentic, raw power.
And people pick up on that.
Because you don't look like you need anyone's validation, people are uncontrollably drawn to your confidence. It is the absolute ultimate cool factor.
Wow. It is the energy of walking into a room and just owning it without even speaking. So how does this play out depending on your relationship status? Let's break it down, starting with the couples out there.
Okay, let's look at couples.
The forecast says this alignment on July 2nd is the perfect time to share your deepest feelings and enjoy a very special date night.
For couples, this Lilith energy strips away the daily polite routines. You don't feel the need to hide behind the usual relationship walls.
No more small talk.
Exactly. A date night on July 2nd won't just be a quiet dinner where you talk about the grocery list or the kids' schedules. It will be a night of really looking at your partner, stripping away the small talk, and having deep, honest, perhaps vulnerable conversations.
Because you feel safe in your own skin.
Yes. Because you feel so naturally grounded in your raw self, you can connect on a profound, almost spiritual level. It brings a very strong, passionate revival to the relationship.
That sounds beautiful. And what about the single Aries listeners who are out there radiating this wild magnetism?
This is where it gets exciting for singles.
Well, remember that electric lightning bolt energy on July 4th when Mars meets Uranus. The charts say this alignment could bring a sudden and completely unexpected romantic spark.
It really is like a lightning strike.
You have to open your heart to totally new possibilities and let love surprise you. You might just bump into someone at a coffee shop while you're out breaking your old, boring morning routines.
That is the defining characteristic of Uranus. It operates completely on the element of surprise. It brings exactly what you least expect, in the way you least expect it.
So don't do the usual stuff.
If you are logging onto the same dating apps, swiping through the same types of people, or looking for love in your usual local bars, you probably won't find it.
You have to shake it up.
But the moment you do something different, the moment you take that spontaneous painting class or go to a strange part of town on a whim, that is when the spark happens.
And your Venus-Lilith magnetism is still glowing.
Exactly. So you are going to draw someone in very quickly.
This sounds like a movie script, honestly.
Yeah.
Now, if an Aries is going out into the world, radiating this energy and looking for connection, we need to talk about who they should be looking for.
Yes, we need to talk about compatibility.
Let's talk about the absolute best match for you this week. And the winner, without a doubt, is
Leo. Yes, the astrological charts point very strongly, almost overwhelmingly, to Leo as your best companion this week.
And why is that?
If we analyze the elemental mechanics of why this works, it all traces back to the shift on June 30th. When Jupiter enters Leo, it creates an incredible bridge of positive energy that connects your Aries sun directly with Leo.
Because you are both fire signs.
Which?
But you operate a little differently, right?
Exactly. You are both fire signs, so you speak the same language of passion, action, and enthusiasm. But you are cardinal fire, meaning you are the spark that starts the flame.
And Leo?
Leo is fixed fire. They are the solid log in the fireplace that burns steadily and brightly all night long. When your cardinal spark meets their fixed flame, you create a fire that is not only exciting, but also highly sustainable.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And it gets even better when we look at the July 4th transit. Since Mars is moving toward that crazy rebellious conjunction with Uranus, you are going to be moving at lightning speed.
You are going to be a blur.
You will want high-speed adventures and sudden changes. And a Leo companion is perfectly built to match that energy.
Yeah.
When you suddenly decide you want to abandon your dinner plans and go to a loud concert instead, a Leo is not going to tell you to slow down or be practical.
Not at all.
They are going to say, let's go, and let's get front row seats.
They match your tempo perfectly. And let's not forget the emotional foundation set by the June 29th full moon. Both you and a Leo will feel a powerful bond during that time because you both have an underlying desire to build something amazing and lasting.
Even while you are playing and being spontaneous.
Exactly. Your shared passion makes this connection feel incredibly easy, natural, and deeply exciting throughout the whole week.
The forecast literally says you will find great comfort and wild joy together as you explore new horizons. It is a partnership of mutual celebration. That sounds like an absolute dream scenario.
It is a wonderful pairing.
But the universe requires balance. Where there is a best match, there's also a worst match. And this week, the sign you really need to avoid at all costs is Cancer.
Yes. The charts show a tremendous, almost painful amount of friction between Aries and Cancer this week. It is an elemental clash of the highest degree.
Trying to talk to a Cancer this week feels like trying to listen to a radio station that is just completely filled with static.
That is a perfect way to describe it.
You're sitting there, slowly turning the dial, squinting, trying to catch the melody of what they're saying. But all you hear is a frustrating, buzzing, incomprehensible noise.
That radio static analogy perfectly captures the astrological reality. Let's analyze exactly why the astro data points to this massive communication breakdown.
It goes back to Mercury, right?
It all goes back to June 29th. Mercury, the planet of communication, goes retrograde specifically in the sign of Cancer. This means Cancer's energy is turned entirely inward.
They're holding everything inside.
They are a water sign, and water wants to flow deeply and quietly. With Mercury moving backward in their sign, they become incredibly protective of their thoughts.
So they retreat into their crab shell.
Exactly. For an Aries who communicates directly and bluntly, this is maddening. You might ask a Cancer a simple question, and you feel like they are hiding their true emotions.
Or dodging the question entirely.
Or worse, because retrograde energy looks backward, they might suddenly bring up old, painful drama from the past that you thought was resolved years ago.
Ugh. Bringing up old drama when you are just trying to move forward is the absolute most frustrating thing for an Aries. You want to conquer the future, and they want to litigate the past.
It is a complete mismatch of priorities.
And the forecast says it gets even worse on July 2nd, when Jupiter squares Chiron. The emotional gaps between you two will become massive.
Because Chiron brings up those old, tender wounds we discussed earlier, the Cancer person will likely feel very vulnerable. They will become highly sensitive and defensive.
And an Aries just wants to fix it.
Right. Your natural Aries instinct when you see someone hurting or a problem arising is to push forward and fix it quickly with action. Let's just talk it out and be done with it.
But that won't work here.
Not at all. Their slow, sensitive, emotional approach will collide directly with your fast-moving, logical plans.
It is a total mismatch of speeds. On July 4th, when Mars hits Uranus, Aries is like a sports car zooming down the highway at 100 miles an hour looking for freedom.
And Cancer.
Cancer is like a very slow-moving truck, carrying fragile emotional baggage, completely blocking the left lane. The forecast gives a very strict, undeniable warning here. Avoid serious debates with them at all costs.
Do not try to force a resolution.
Do not try to fix it. Do not try to hash it out. If you try to argue, you will both end up feeling deeply frustrated, exhausted, and completely misunderstood for days.
That is the wisest choice you can make. The planetary alignments right now just do not support clear, easy communication between fire and water.
Fire boils water, and water puts out fire.
Exactly. Just give them space. Turn off the static radio, step out of the room, and walk away for now. You can reconnect when Mercury moves forward again.
Okay, so dealing with slow bank transactions, confusing static from defensive Cancers, and sudden romantic lightning bolts takes a massive amount of energy out of a person.
It is a highly demanding week.
Your engine is running hot. All of this intense action brings our focus directly to your health and wellness for the week.
Yes, the physical and mental health of an Aries needs a very deliberate, balanced approach during this highly active period, because the extremes in the sky are quite sharp.
Let's talk about the drain first. On July 2nd, the forecast mentions a tough astrological event called the Malefic Besieged Transit.
It is a heavy one.
That sounds incredibly intense, like something out of a medieval war movie. And it says this transit could make you feel temporarily drained or totally stressed out. It is really important to rest your body and mind on July 2nd to avoid burning out completely. What exactly does besieged mean in the charts?
The term besieged in astrology is a very specific mechanical condition. It is exactly what it sounds like. It happens when a planet, in this case, an area of your chart governing your daily energy, is sandwiched or trapped between two difficult planets or two tense planetary aspects.
Okay, sandwiched between trouble.
We call these difficult planets malefics because they bring challenges rather than easy gifts.
So it is like trying to negotiate a delicate peace treaty while sitting in a tiny room where two people are screaming at each other at the top of their lungs. Your energy has to operate through the distorted, aggressive energy on either side.
That is a brilliant way to visualize it. You are stuck in the tension, you cannot move forward smoothly, and you cannot retreat.
You are just trapped.
On July 2nd, your physical body might just feel incredibly heavy. You might wake up feeling a strange, unexplained pressure in your chest, or a mental stress that rapidly drains your battery.
You might feel like you ran a marathon when all you did was answer a few emails.
That is why resting on this day is not just a polite suggestion from the universe, it is a strict requirement.
But here's my biggest question. How in the world do we balance this massive need to rest and do nothing on July 2nd with that huge explosive burst of physical energy coming just 2 days later on July 4th when Mars joins Uranus?
It is a massive swing.
It feels like your body is being asked to go from 0 to 100 overnight.
That is exactly what the sky is asking of you, and that is precisely why the deep rest on July 2nd is so critical. Think of July 2nd as plugging your phone into the wall and leaving it there.
Do not touch it.
You must charge the battery fully, because on July 4th, you are going to be running a massive, almost overwhelming amount of physical power.
When the warrior meets the lightning bolt.
Exactly. When Mars joins Uranus, you will feel a sudden, undeniable burst of physical energy in your limbs. You will want to move, run, jump, and break a sweat.
You will feel like you can lift a car.
Yes, and my analysis of the charts tells me you must use this power intentionally. Direct it toward fun exercise or outdoor adventures.
Go for a run, maybe.
Go for a long run in a new neighborhood, try a fast-paced sport you have never played before, or go for an intense hike. But, and this is a very important warning, be careful not to push yourself past your limits.
Because Uranus is unpredictable.
Right, because everything is moving so fast in your nervous system, it can make you a bit physically clumsy. You might trip over your own feet because your brain is moving faster than your legs. So burn the energy, but watch your step.
Okay, so we charge the battery on the 2nd, we burn off the explosive energy safely on the 4th, and then finally, we get a beautiful cool down. On July 5th, Mars connects nicely with Neptune.
This is a lovely transit.
The charts say this specific connection helps Aries find deep relaxation, peace, and profound spiritual healing. How does Neptune manage to calm the Aries fire?
Neptune is a fascinating planet. It rules the vast, endless ocean. It is the planet of dreams, intuition, and deep spiritual peace. It operates on a completely different frequency than the physical world.
So it is very soothing.
When Neptune connects smoothly with your ruling planet, Mars, it is like a gentle, cool wave washing over a hot beach. It gently cools down all that fire and adrenaline. It softens your rough edges. It is a wonderful, highly supportive transit for internal healing.
So on July 5th, your job is to simply embrace this peace. Lean into the water. It does not have to be a complicated meditation routine, right?
No, keep it simple.
Just take a quiet walk near a lake or a river, or simply lay flat on your living room floor. Close your eyes and listen to some really calm, atmospheric music. Let your mind float for a bit without trying to solve any problems.
It will feel absolutely amazing after the wild electric ride of the week.
Absolutely. The contrast will feel like a total gift. Now let's open up your weekly toolkit. These are the little extras, the touchstones to keep in mind as you navigate the week. First up, your color of the week to wear or focus on is crimson.
Crimson is a very deliberate choice here. It is a powerful, deep red. It perfectly matches the fiery foundational energy of your ruling planet, Mars.
But it is not a chaotic red.
Exactly. It isn't a chaotic, bright red. It has depth. It gives you a sense of grounding power, especially when you are trying to break out of those old routines on July 4th and need to feel anchored in your own strength.
Exactly. Wear a crimson shirt to a meeting, tie a crimson scarf on your bag, or even just picture a glowing crimson light in your mind when you need a sudden boost of confidence to push through that besieged transit.
It will help center you.
Next, the best dates to mark in bold on your calendar are June 30th and July 4th. We know why June 30th brings that lucky, joyful Jupiter spark where you want to paint murals, and July 4th is your big, explosive day to break free from the cage and maybe find a sudden romantic lightning bolt.
Mark those dates clearly and plan to be entirely open to whatever the universe throws your way.
Don't overbook yourself.
Right. Do not overschedule yourself on those days. Leave room for the unexpected.
And finally, your lucky numbers for the week. Write these down, put them on a sticky note. We have got 7,
12,
22,
34,
41.
and 45.
Keep an eye out for those numbers. You might see them on your grocery receipts, on the license plates of the cars in front of you, or when you were picking a seat on a train.
They are little signs.
When you spot them, take it as a little wink from the universe, bringing you a bit of extra cosmic luck during a very intense week.
As we wrap up this week's forecast, I want to leave you with a final thought, a question to chew on based on the deep mechanics we've looked at in the astro charts.
I am listening.
We talked extensively about the urge to rebel. When you finally break free from those old, boring patterns on July 4th, ask yourself this. Were those strict routines actually protecting you from chaos, or were they just the walls of a cage you built yourself because you were afraid of your own potential?
Oh, wow.
And more importantly, what happens now that the door to the cage is wide open?
That is a massive question to take with you into the week. Aries, the door is open. Step through it wisely. Thank you for listening to the episode on Horoscope TV.
We appreciate you being here.
Be sure to subscribe so that you can get notified the exact moment the next episode is available. Stay brave, stay patient, and we will see you next time.